Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Fastest Podcast. It's high energy this week. We are in race week. We're deep into it. As I'm recording this, it's Wednesday evening, which means we've got press conferences tomorrow, and then we're straight into what is a sprint weekend at Belgium, the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I have got two guests, of course, as you know, Dan from our last episode, and I am joined with, as I've said before, the one and only Ash.
What's up, guys?
So, obviously, it's the same podcast. It's the fastest podcast. It's the show that talks about everything from the greatest overtakes to the fastest pit stops. And speaking of fastest pit stops, I don't know if you saw, Ash, on the last episode, we got Dan to do a little bit of a prediction, and we're going to get you to do the same now. So I'm going to ask you, which team is going to have the fastest pit stop, and which driver from that team is going to have the fastest pit stop in the
I'm
main
going for
race
Sauber this
at Belgium?
weekend. Sorry, I'm going for Sauber this weekend. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing quick pit stops, and we have Jonathan Wheatley on the team, so I have full confidence Sauber will do it this weekend. And I think I would say
which driver?
Bortoletto.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's certainly different, and I think I didn't put my ones in either. So
What do you think?
Ash has gone for Bortoletto and Sauber. I'm going to go for Mercedes, and I'm going to go for Kimi Antonelli. Be a bit rogue, just chuck it out there.
Speaking of pit stops, it's sad that no one's choosing Red Bull nowadays. Like Red Bull used to be at the top of pit stops.
Yeah,
Right now
they were the dominant force.
they're not there anymore.
I mean, you say that you chose Sauber, and you wouldn't have been choosing them last year.
True. No way.
But as I said, we are in race week, so we've got some exciting times coming up. Obviously, the summer break just come off the back of it. Big news as well, gents, as I'm sure the whole F1 world has seen. Christian Horner sacked, left, who knows, but he's no longer with Red Bull. Red Bull's first race without Horner now. Is it going to have any effect, Ash, or are Red Bull going to be the exact same team as they were before?
I don't think it's going to have any effect this race. And in fact, I don't think it'll have any effect like in the next few races as well, because it's more like a long-term effect. This year's cars are already developed, and there's no change in strategies as well. It's the same team. Only the thing that's changed is the leader. So it's more of a long-term effect. It's not a short-term effect, because right now all his work is already there and it's going to continue. So I think next year is going to be like a very important change.
Yeah, of course, as you said, there's still the exact same staff that are there, the same strategists, the same race engineers. But there's one, I'd say, key change. I don't know if you'd agree with me, Dan. Verstappen and Horner, their relationship was obviously quite close. Horner said many a time that the car was very much tailored towards Verstappen. Do you see Verstappen maybe having an off weekend, maybe not being as good as he has been recently without Horner in the team?
I don't think so. I think Spa is one of Verstappen's favourite tracks. He's won there 3 times in the last 4 years. He knows the circuit. It's also like a home circuit for him. He'll have the Orange Army there. I don't think it'll impact him this race. I think going forward into maybe more difficult races further down the line, it could impact him. You know, you're looking at certain tracks where Red Bull aren't so strong, Singapore, for example, that could be where, you know, we're yet to see how Mekis and Verstappen will gel together. I think that could be the first sort of test. I think in Belgium it's not going to affect Verstappen.
I mean, let's not forget the rain.
Yeah.
Verstappen always does
the
well
great
in rain.
equaliser.
Yeah.
And obviously, Ash, as you touched on it before, the whole the long-term effects on Red Bull without Horner, how do you see that playing out? At 12 races of the season to go, building a whole new car, they're already halfway through building it, or up to the point of now trying to develop it further. How does that affect Red Bull going forwards long-term without Horner now?
It's going to be a huge change for the team. Yes, Horner is not there, but they are getting another talented man as the leader right now, because Lauren Mackey is not someone they just picked out in random. He has a lot of experience he used to work at Ferrari, and then he came to Racing Bulls, and now he's in Red Bull. I mean, see, from Ferrari was there as a head of aerodynamics. So he has an engineering mind of himself, and he knows what the car needs to. He has an engineering mindset. So I think that's why they wanted Laurent as the team principal right now, because that's what they need. Because they don't have Adrian Newey anymore, and they need someone who will be able to lead the team to the more to kind of develop that car. And next year is
Yeah.
going to be crucial because of the regulation change and everything. So yeah, I think Laurent is a good choice. But yeah, the Horner news was a slight shock to everyone, mainly the timing. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think as you said, Laurent Meki's coming in. He was in the Red Bull family. He's just moved up a level in the Red Bull family. We've seen pictures in the past on go around social medias on Twitter and Instagram of Mekis and Marco and Horner all having meetings together. So it's obvious that he's been very much involved with the running of both teams together as it's gone on. So it's a bit more stability for the team. But instability wise, as you said, Ash, rain this weekend. It is forecast. We are looking at potentially a few mixed conditions, maybe a bit of heavy rain, who knows. Belgium is notorious for being difficult as it is. How does the rain affect not just the cars on track, the drivers on track, but how does it affect the pecking order? We know McLaren are at the moment the quickest, Stan, but does it take them down a peg? Does it equal them out with the other cars? Does it make them the second or third quickest team? What changes with the rain?
Well, like Ash said, rain is the equaliser. But if you look at the last race in Silverstone, McLaren were just a class still above everyone else, even in the wet conditions. What I do think it can do, it will throw up surprises. You know, look back at Silverstone, you had Stroll running in the podium positions. Hulkenberg got his podium, and it's about being at the right tyre at the right time. You know, it could be a wet, dry race again. And if so, you know, the strategists will have their work cut out. You look at Silverstone, Max Verstappen was there or thereabouts until he had his spin fighting McLarens. But even still, I really think that the McLarens are still a class above everyone, and I expect them to still dominate.
Yeah, of course. And I think a lot of it does come down to tyre temperatures. We've heard a lot about tyres and who can keep them the coolest. Belgium is slightly more altitude. It's a lot more intense on the tyres at times. So, in terms of that, Ash, how does keeping the tyres cool at a higher altitude track affect McLaren and other teams? Can they keep the tyres cool? Are they still going to be the favourites? What do you think?
this weekend I'm going for Ferrari. I'm going to predict that Ferrari is going to take the win because we saw them have the secret test with the rear suspension, and there's a lot of hype about it, saying that this is going to like solve all the Ferrari problems and kind of like get the tire race strategy back on track, basically manage the tires better and things like that. So I think Ferrari is going to have a huge improvement in this weekend. And yet, our temperature is always a concern no matter where you go. The problem with a track like Spa keeping the tires like maintaining tire temperature for soft tires because they need a higher temperature. For intermediate or wets, because they need a slightly cooler weather for them to be in the optimal temperature. So I think if it's a wet race, it shouldn't be much of a problem. But it's a dry race, yes, drivers will have some work to do to keep the tires warm.
Yeah, and as Dan said, of course, being on the right tyre at the right time, that could also have an effect. If you're on the dries when the track's too wet, your tyres are going to be burning up. Yeah. Same as if you're on the intermediate when the track is too dry, you're not going to be having a very good time on those intermediate tyres. So you have got to try and balance it out and find that right tyre. Now, personally, for me, I think with how the track is, the altitude of it, as I previously mentioned, and the effect of rain on the track as well, I don't think we're going to see a McLaren win. We've seen them struggle
Ferrari.
in the past. I don't think we're going to see them do so well today. And I do actually agree with you, Ash. I do think maybe not a win, but I do think we'll see both Ferraris right up there and battling. I think personally, if you ask me, it's going to be a Verstappen win. He knows the track. He loves the track, and I just think in the rain he's going to do so well at it. But I mean, as Dan said as well, you have surprises up there. I had Hulkenberg in the rain at Silverstone. You just have to look back a few years, and you had George Russell qualifying and, well, at that point finishing P2, but there was only 3 laps in that race, so who's counting that really? So I'll ask both of you, what is one shocking prediction that you're going to make this weekend that you hope to come true, Dan?
That's a tough one. I like to see Fernando Alonso get on the podium, and I think he'll do it. Aston Martin are improving their car. You know, they're challenging for the lowerish points, sort of 6th down. But in the rain, he's a master in the rain, and I'd like to see Alonso on the podium.
And he's got years of experience, of course, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And
Ash, who's your take?
I mean, speaking to Dan's point, like interestingly, they're bringing an upgrade also this weekend. So you'll never know.
Yeah, they are. So it could happen. Could happen.
Could happen. You never know. But I'm going to say Hulkenberg second podium.
Oh, like London buses.
Second podium.
You wait so long for one and then 2 come along at once.
I'll tell you why. Now we know that Sauber is fast. It was much faster. It was like more or less the same as Ferrari last weekend. And plus, Hulkenberg's right open the floodgates right now. Now there's no stopping him. I think he can get a second podium easily. And if he does, I'm saying that if he gets a second podium, I'm saying Audi's going to win the championship next year.
Yeah, I won't be opposed to that, is all I will say.
Everyone wants to see that.
Everyone wants to see that.
I'd
Both
love
on the podium.
A bit of a shock. I mean, that would be a story and a half. That would be a true underdog story, rise to the top.
I mean, forget the F1 movie. This is what we need.
We need a real life F1 movie.
Yeah.
Put it into action.
This is it.
Who said dreams can't come true?
Exactly.
I mean, if we want to touch on dreams, the McLaren fight is still raging. Both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri dreaming of that first F1 World Championship. I mean, Lando has been with McLaren for so long. Piastri, the newer kid on the block. The gap isn't that big. I think it's 7 points, if I'm correct. 7 or 8 points. It isn't much between the two drivers. So who's coming into this weekend needing a result more? Is it kind of they're both trying to get maximum points? Nothing stupid. What do you make of the McLaren fight, Ash?
So, first of all, I was bummed for Piastri last race in Silverstone. I mean, yeah, he did a mistake. He got a penalty, but I think 10 seconds was way too harsh. I think a 5 second would have been more than sufficient. Yeah. But yeah, what happened. So we can't change anything there. But yeah, the ever since F1 came back to Europe, like Norris has slowly been catching Piastri right now. Now I think it's 20 points or less or lesser. But yeah, so
I think it's about 7 or 8 points at the moment.
Right. So I think Norris is the championship fight is going to go to the last race. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Until the last race, the title won't be decided. The only question is Verstappen going to put his name into the championship again, or is it going to be between the two McLaren drivers? Because I think Verstappen, you can never count him out. No matter what race it is, you can never count him out. Even the last race, he came out of nowhere, took pole position. And if the Red Bull gets the right upgrade, and I think Verstappen can also put his name back on top and start fighting for the championship. Still 12 races to go.
Yeah. Dan, I can almost see you jumping out your seat to go on to that. I'll let you take this.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Verstappen, I think he's out of it. He's probably got to win half the remaining races. I don't see him outscoring the McLarens by enough. But when it comes to the McLaren fight, I think Piastri needs to win this race to put the marker back down to Norris, because Norris he's won the last 2 races. Yes, Piastri's followed him up with second, but Norris is the man with the momentum at the moment. And I really feel that Piastri needs to put his foot down, and especially in Belgium, because, again, it's like a home race for Norris, Belgium.
Yeah.
So if Piastri, he can put his foot down and win here, then I think it puts a marker on Norris. And let's not forget, at Silverstone, Piastri was the faster driver. And if he doesn't do that erratic braking mistake, then he goes on to win that race.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I do think Piastri would have won that race without the 10 seconds, even if it was 5. We would have had a battle, but I still think Piastri would have kind of gone and taken it. I think, as you said, Dan, there is bragging rights now at stake for the two of them. 12 races to go. You've had 3 weeks off. You come back with Norris winning the last 2. His confidence is sky high. He's been catching. He's pulled that championship back towards him. I think whoever goes out and wins this race now, or finishes higher out of the 2 McLarens as the better weekend, instantly they go in with a lot more confidence. I think Norris's mentality has changed a lot this season to kind of just calm himself down, let the car drive itself. It's got the pace. Don't do anything stupid. And you can, apart from maybe Canada, but he took the blame for that, you can see he's not trying to be too erratic with things. I do agree. I think Verstappen's out of it. I think he's got a win or 2 under his belt for the rest of the season, but I don't think he's got a championship winning car under him as good as he is.
I don't think one upgrade.
It's true. Or a couple of McLaren crashes between teammates in the final few races, and a Verstappen win, and everything changes. And as we know, the world of F1 is so unpredictable. Literally anything can happen, can't it?
True. Yeah, I think Verstappen can still do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Verstappen. He's so quick, you can really never count him out. And he's got the car that's under him that drives purely to how he wants it. So you can't count him out. And then the 2 McLarens fighting each other. As you said, Ash, last race of the season. I think I agree with you there. So I think we're in for a pretty exciting final 12 races, second half of the season. It should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think we can compare it to Hamilton Rosberg battles back in 2016, even 2014 in Bahrain and all. It's going to be similar to that, I think.
Yeah. And then similar, obviously, to 2021, which we won't mention too much for obvious reasons, but that went down to the last race as well. We won't mention it, but we won't stop talking about it either. It's the elephant in the room. It's always going to be there. But we will end it, as I said, the sprint weekend. So we'll end it with a few predictions, and we'll come back to them on the race review and see kind of who's got the most points, who's got the most correct answers, and maybe we'll make a little table out of it. We'll have a little competition with everyone on the podcast to see by the end of the season who's got the most points in predictions. So we'll start off with you, Ash, on this one. I want your top 3 for the main race.
For the main race, I'm going to go Hamilton, Leclerc, Hulkenberg.
Oh, you sticking with Hulkenberg in the race? Okay,
I'm sticking with my predictions.
That might be a point down the drain. It might be a point. Point gain.
If I get that point, I need 10 times the point you usually give.
If Hulkenberg gets in, you can have 10 points.
Yeah.
And I think Dan will be happy to agree with that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there we go. Dan, your top 3?
I'm gonna go Norris, Hamilton, Alonso.
He's sticking with Alonso.
Piastri in the top 3.
No. My mind just goes back to Australia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe he's learned from it. Who knows?
Maybe,
but I feel like I should be chucking in a rogue P3 now. So I'm going to go Lando in first. I'm going to go Oscar Piastri in second. I'm going to go Lance Stroll for 3rd place. There we go. We'll go rogue. We'll chuck it in. No. Anything can happen.
Okay. I'm not going to say much.
No, probably best not to. I don't want to be left out. I want to have a rogue one in there as well. We'll start with. We'll start. Oh, I'm going to take the reins on this one. The sprint race top 3. I'm going to go for. I think Piastri will take this one in a sprint. I think Lando Norris will come second, and I think Lewis Hamilton will be third. Dan, you can follow that one up.
Sure. I'm going to go for a Piastri win in the sprint. I'm going to go. I'll be a bit boring. Norris second as well, but I fancy Leclerc to get third.
Ferrari for both of us. Ash,
I'm going for
you back
Verstappen
Ferrari.
first.
Are you going to back them again?
No, I'm going Verstappen first.
Ooh.
Shorter race. He doesn't have to worry about tires that as much.
Yeah.
So you never know. And could rain also. So Verstappen's always there. I'm going to say Verstappen first, and then followed by Piastri, and then Hamilton.
So we've all got the Ferraris on the podium for the sprint race. We will reverse order it again. So Ash will start with you. Which driver, although they don't get a point for it, you do, is going to have the fastest lap?
Fastest lap going to Leclerc.
Leclerc. Dan,
Verstappen.
I'm going to go for Hamilton. So we've all got a bit
Ferrari.
different there. Yeah, sticking with that Ferrari red train, we'll go for
The
Lewis
rear
Hamilton.
suspension.
I think they've got it in them. And it could be interesting. If the gaps open up, there's always a chance there for someone to just nab it on any lap, especially if you're pitting onto fresh tyres towards the end of the race when the track dries. You never know what's going to come.
I'll tell you why Ferrari
And then-
might not be able to make it on the podium. If it comes down to
Go on.
strategy.
Oh,
If it's
yeah,
a mixed
now you've hit
weather
the nail on the
condition,
head.
dynamic weather conditions and strategy, then I have my doubts.
Yeah, Hamilton, it's raining heavy. Okay, pit for dries then. You don't know what they're going to do. They are so unpredictable. And then to finish off our predictions, I have chucked in a bit of a rogue one. A head-to-head between the two Haas drivers. Who's going to finish higher? Ash, go on, you
Behrman.
can take this one.
Behrman.
Behrman.
Yeah.
Dan?
I'll go Ocon.
So I don't want to be copying anyone, but I'm going to go Behrman.
Yeah, I'm going Behrman.
Stick with
No
the
hesitation.
British roots on that one. He's got some good drives as Behrman. You've seen him start last or 19th, and he has come up to the points in quite a few occasions actually. So, I think he can do it again.
Yeah, but Behrman's on the
So-
rise right now, so can't.
That's true. He is. He's a cracking young driver, but if it's raining, I mean, as we've seen recently in this season, the young drivers in the rain
Don't jinx
haven't
it.
necessarily been incredible. Where's the wood? Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood.
Oh, well, we'll end it there before I jinx anything too much and Behrman ends up spinning out on lap 1 for both races. Don't want that to happen. We'll touch wood again.
Yeah.
So let us know. Answer the questions down below that I asked here. What's your top 3 for the main race in the sprint? Who's going to get fastest lap? And out of Ocon and Behrman, who's finishing higher? Let us know. See if you can beat our predictions, get more points than we will. Because, I mean, our rogue top 3 predictions, I don't think any of us are getting 3 points in that.
I'm confident.
Make sure
I'll
that
get
you... Well, yeah, we'll revisit this and we'll have to see who does get the most. But I am the least confident with my Stroll prediction. Maybe we'll edit that one out. Who knows? Make sure that you drop a like on the video as well. It really helps us out to try and reach a bigger audience and keep growing the podcast and keep growing the channel. Down below is all our socials, our Twitter and our Instagram. Make sure you follow them. You get live updates of all sessions, including F2 and F3 this weekend on our Fastest Pit Stop live channel. And subscribe and make sure the notification bell is on because we've got a lot of content coming this weekend for the sprint race weekend at Belgium. So make sure that you're following and subscribing so you can keep up with all of that. From Dan and Ash, I'm sure it's goodbye.
Right.